spangled flag, it's a high-flying flag. It's the emblem for me and for you. It's the
Come on, run at him! Make him shit himself!
Yeah, we come over from South Australia every week to see the football, to see Collingwood. My husband's a one-eyed Collingwood supporter. He said you've got to know two things. Collingwood's never wrong and the umpire's never right. So that's football.
Rarely drink at the football because I'm bad enough without alcohol, let alone what booze would do to me. So I bring coffee and I'll get pissed after the game if they win. Kick the damn thing! Kick it!
And you know what she does after the game if they lose? Doesn't want to talk to anybody, just goes home to bloody huff. That's not bullshit, is it?
No, I've been doing that all my life, mate. I love going to the pub after the game, and if they win, there's just a great atmosphere, and it's usually wall-to-wall men, and I love it. That's what I love about the football. There's lots and lots of women, and I'm the first to say good on you for all going, and I'm female, and I should know better, but I just love the macho atmosphere. I love the men. I love their oily bodies. I love watching them run round. It's just, they look fantastic. Come on, Blues!
I wanna be there with St Kilda when the Saints go marching in.
We make a few $100 just on the cakes. Yes, the cakes are top class.
It's important that the clubs support their volunteer workers because they really could not exist without them. We all know that. After a period of time, you know, the person who's around the club running the raffles and doing whatever, and, you know, the ladies doing the washing around the club and preparing meals and doing... I mean, if they don't feel they're appreciated and taken for granted for a while, you can't afford to lose those people.
In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind, we'll fight and win.
Women are the true supporters, though where men will get very easily turned off, you know. They do all the growling and whinging and carrying on if they lose. Oh, they're great supporters if they win. They don't like losing men. We don't like it either, but we go on to the next week. Once it's over, it's over as far as we're concerned.
I've been a supporter since the late 40s. About 2.5 years ago they brought in the ladies who had been members for over the period of time. So we all get a medallion, and it's got your 25 years written on it. But the men have always been that way.
Tell us a bit about the Dolly Greys.
Oh, well, they started in 1991, and straight after we won the premiership, they thought they'd have a new coterie, because we used to have the ladies of Collingwood before that, and I didn't think that was very upmarket, I don't think. Since then, they've raised a great deal of money, on the average about $35,000 per year, I think. And they just have functions once a month, of either in the club or they take us out somewhere else, you know. And it's just a matter of people putting themselves behind them, you know. Falls off a bit as the team is losing. They don't get quite as many at the functions. If they're winning, well, you can't get in.
$15. $15 is the bid now for Alex McDonald. $15. $20 over here, $20. $25, $25, $30, $30, $35, $40. Oh, bullshit! $40.
Sing it one and all. Join in the chorus. North Melbourne's on the ball.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, women's roles in football clubs were part of women's committees and players' evenings and doing those sorts of things. Whereas today, as I've already said, women come in, I would like to think, on absolutely equal grounds and equal opportunities.
Thank you to Linda and Kevin Sheedy and others for deciding that women matter in football and should matter in football clubs and getting us to do something about it. And congratulations to all of you on being pioneers. Great to be a pioneer. Women often pioneer things, but it's rarely written down in history. Well, we'll write this down in history. This is the start of something big.
I believe that football is the definitive male game, and I don't particularly want to watch women playing football. I think that's one of the things that women enjoy about football, is that it is the definitive male pastime. And I don't want to see that change, but I do think that they're quite apart from actually being out there in the centre and heading for the goal line. There is no reason why women should be excluded from all the other aspects of football.
When you look at where the actual action is off the football field, that's where the women are. And if you don't have the action off the football field, then you actually don't have football. But I'd like to actually see us being a bit more than supporters. I'd like to actually see us having a bit more of a say.
What sort of a say?
Oh, well, I'd like to see a couple of football commissioners. I certainly think it's terrific having Elaine Canty on the tribunal, and certainly flushed out some of the guys, didn't it?
There are many roles in football which you don't really need testosterone to fulfil, and on the field I don't particularly want to see women out there, but I guess if you get to that you'd have to ask yourself long and hard why you do need two testicles to wave two flags.
Women want to be taken seriously in football. We're not just the washers of the jumpers and the providers of the tender loving care. We actually have a view, and some of us these days as corporate women actually have some money.
My first role then was membership director. They had never, which was hard to believe, they had never even had a membership department, Essendon. So they gave me a young membership officer, they called her, Bernadette Dargan, and I drew some people together, and I think in '93, in the premiership year, we had 10,000 members, and the first year as membership director we got it up to 19,500. It was very difficult for a woman to be part of an all-male, sort of administration, football department. And I mean, now I look back, I really had no idea what it was going to be like, which is probably good, because I probably wouldn't have, gone ahead with it.
Really?
Well, you walked, my first year, every meeting I went to, every, main sort of football thing, I was the only female. You always were considered to be someone's wife. People didn't even want to know your name. So I learned very quickly to have my name tag on.
Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tiger.
I'm an actual trainer, but my role's a little bit different to the other trainers in the sense that I'm doing a sports massage course. So I generally come down on the off nights, I suppose the non-training nights, and do the sports massage on the guys that need the rehabilitation. The first thing you notice when you do, I suppose, especially AFL football, is that they're such elite athletes that it's all muscle. So it's very heavy, and I found for the first month, my hands used to ache, sort of from the elbow down, up in the shoulders, they just ache, just until you built up the muscles in your hand, and then after that it was fine. When I first started, because it is all male environment, it's very intimidating, especially in this sort of atmosphere where It's not just all males, but you're down in the change rooms and all that. It's very intimidating, and for the first, I'd say about 3 months, I used to physically feel sick before I came here, just for the fact that you were just so uncomfortable coming into. Not that anyone made you feel uncomfortable, but it was just, I'd never been, in an environment that was all male.
It's very much a position of who you've got to be around the right place at the right time to actually get the position as well. Because it's a job that everybody would love to do, physio-wise. There's pressure getting the guys back on the field, and certainly if we let them go back too early, or they haven't done an effective rehab program, well then they break down, and that obviously matters financially to the player, financially to the club, and to all those thousands of spectators out there.
There's, I suppose, a lot more physical reasons why they tend not to have female trainers compared to physios. And it just depends on the club. I know there's a lot of clubs that won't have female trainers at all.
I don't think it's a woman's place around football clubs, really. I think it's a men's domain. Women have their place watching and things like that, but I don't.
They're
think
allowed
so.
to barrack.
But I think even the women commentators on the television and that, when they come on, they just don't seem right.
Good afternoon and welcome to Saturday Sport. Round 14 in the VFL, and our match of the day is between Sandringham and Williamstown down at Beach Road. Our special studio guest today is Port Melbourne coach Neil Ross. A couple of years ago when I did another footy program, a precursor to the footy show now that's on Channel 9, I did a late night show on Channel 2 called Late Ball, and that was pretty much chucked in the deep end, and I did it with Crackers Keenan and David Mackay and Stan Alves, and I think they copped a lot of flack for having this girlie, this broad on the programming. What would she possibly know about footy, and where does she come from, and who is she, and how can she possibly be making comments on the games and who's going to win and who's going to lose?
The first few years that I started writing footy, there was no problems, and then for about 2 years there was all these problems with being kicked out, with not being allowed in, with being treated like dirt when you got there, that sort of stuff. And then the AFL sort of came in and realised that there'd been a successful challenge to that, in that the Equal Opportunity Board from a New South Wales rugby league writer, who's actually upstairs, you should go and talk to her, Jacqueline Magnay, and when she won her case against Balmain and Alan Jones for not being allowed in the rooms, I think the AFL realised that it was important that they got their own media policy in order, and so they put out a policy demanding that clubs set aside a separate interview room so that we don't have to now go into the changing rooms, but the coach is brought out for the post-match interview, and that's made it a lot easier. The problems with women being accepted as football experts, I think, were much worse when it all began. Caroline Wilson was one of the first, and I'm sure she has far more horror stories than I do about being challenged on her right to be there and her knowledge and her role in the game. I think people like her have made it a lot easier for people like me, so I only hate to think how hard it was for Caroline when she was starting out.
And joining us in the studio at 17 minutes past 7 o'clock, 12 degrees outside, is in fact Caroline Wilson, 3AW's resident TV expert.
I mean, Linda's right. I remember the first ever football writers' dinner I was asked to, and the Football Writers Association said I couldn't go because although I was a football writer, they didn't want me to be a member because they'd never had a woman member before. There'd been people like Claudia Wright who'd gone into the dressing rooms, Corrie Perkin who'd covered it full-time at The Age for one season, but they'd never been allowed to be members. And a few people pushed and said that I should go, and I walked in and the person who was, I think it was at Princess Park, at a sort of a reception room there, the person running the show said to me, "You must be a waitress, this is where the aprons are." I mean, no kidding. I mean, people say, oh, come on, it's true. I mean, they thought I was a waitress, and all the speeches were gentlemen and Caroline. So, I mean, you could say it was a nightmare, but it actually taught me, it probably made me tougher, and it probably gave me a lot of confidence.
I can't believe that is the main reason that someone like Gary Lyon or Jason Dunstall would put themselves through excruciating surgery. I am positive that the number one reason is because they absolutely love the game that they've played so brilliantly. I know that money might be 45%, Jared, or it might be 49%, but
a large component of it, for sure.
A very large component, but surely not the outstanding component, Dean.
Why have we got this real problem with AFL footballers earning money? We haven't got a problem with tennis players earning millions, with cricketers earning plenty, with cyclists, with athletes getting
I knew you'd have this attitude.
$30,000. But why have we got this problem?
I don't
Or
have
why
a problem
you got
with
the problem?
it. I don't have any problem with it.
Gary Lyon, it's his career. It's his AFL career. Of course he wants to extend
I'm not
it.
knocking Gary Lyon. I'm saying, of course, for financial reasons, he wants to keep playing. But there is so much more to it than that. It's what Dean and I said before. It is
Of course there's more reasons.
Yeah, and when you look back now, Jared, on what you did for those years, you don't look back at the money you earned.
I wanna be there with St Kilda when the Saints go marching in.
It was me! Listen up, come on. Good, I'm going to deliver it down here. And Cakes makes it awkward. He's then going to pick it up and get it off. We want it up there, where he can take it out in front of him. Okay, out in front.
Oh, good on your dog!
Right, out in front.
The youngest boy had Jenny last year and she was just terrific. She made it so special for them, not just competitive. They enjoyed football. She did lots of different evenings, McDonald's before a training session at the MCG, and took them to matches. It was really good. Sleepovers. I mean, I wouldn't like having 20-something kids there sleeping over at my place. And I don't think the parents sort of made them think that it was anything out of the ordinary. She was just terrific at, doing it. And I think she enjoyed it, and the kids put in.
Plenty of talk. Lots and lots of talk. Right, I know you're all yappers. You can't tell me otherwise. Make sure you talk both in training and on the ground, because it is so important.
I think sometimes people felt, perhaps when the boys get older, that from what I've heard, that they need to have that male.
Yes.
In what do you mean?
Well, probably a strong, I shouldn't not say strong, you know what I'm saying? It's just been a male domain, I mean, hasn't it? There's no reason why we can't get out there and coach ourselves, but perhaps they relate better to having a male, coach.
I'd like to see a female involved in the actual coaching panel. Whether we'll get a female coaching an actual league team, I think is probably a little bit beyond the realms of possibility at this stage. I don't know, probably a few barriers to be broken down, and I think the other thing too that's very important is women have got to prove that they are capable of the coaching position. And that means coming up through the ranks and coaching amateur teams and local sides and all that. And, I mean, one day it'd be fantastic to see a female coach a league team, but I certainly wouldn't be guessing when and if that will happen.
I don't think a female would make a good coach. There probably is somebody out there that would be a good coach, but to find that person, I think you'd have a lot of trouble doing that. But I think you've got to have a bit of meanness in you.
You reckon?
Oh yeah, you've got to have a bit of meanness in you, and a bit of a bugger in you, and that, and I don't know if a woman can sort of be that way.
Publicly, I've heard David Parkin and Kevin Sheedy both say, and Ron Barassi has stated, I'd be capable of coaching a league team. So I think that's a great acceptance from premiership coaches, and I think it may not be myself, but there'll be a woman one day who will contribute closer with hands-on, as I would like to do.
Fitness coaches, I think that they could do that. I think physios, all that type of thing, where you don't need a hands-on person to do it. I mean, it would be exactly the same if you were to ask a woman to coach, asking me to coach, because I would know very little. It doesn't come down to a man-woman thing in that situation. It's just who knows more.
I do hear the argument that if you haven't played the game, you wouldn't be able to coach. But you must remember that Komenich, the wonderful gymnast, her coach was a boxer, and he also coached another 2 gold medalists. As far as the German gold medalist team in the World Championship were concerned, their coach was a wrestler. And so I don't think that it necessarily follows through. But I think in the case of women are very good at finding out what makes people tick, how they feel. They're game enough to open themselves to this trusting chemistry between player and coach.
In fact, I think more women should be involved in the football. In running the boundary, even umpiring. there's no reason why they can't. They've still got a brain in their head the same as a man.
They certainly couldn't do any worse, eh?
They couldn't do any worse than some of the umpires at the moment.
As far as field umpiring goes, I'm the highest placed field umpire, female field umpire in our league doing under 18s. I'm hoping to sort of remedy that next year and at least go up one grade, but that's up to the hierarchy whether or not I do.
Hold it in! Come on! Come on, Royce, talk it up!
Now, a lot of girls feel intimidated about football and boys, but the girls at our league get really well looked after. We tend to keep the girls after their first year. They tend to come back for a second and a third, which is, you know, credit to the league, I guess. It's hard for the girls early on, but they soon sort themselves out. They realise, particularly with the help of the guys, that they're not being picked on because they're female. They're being picked on because they're umpires, and umpires are fair game to anybody who wants to have a dig at them.
Oh, play to them again! Oh, come on! Jeez! We haven't had any! When do we get a free? The one you've criticised. Gee, 2 quarters and no free. Oh, God. I think the captain will go and say something.
How can you have free kicks 7-0?
More than 7.
More than 7 now. No, I've been counting. There's 7.
Do you want to be a footy player when you grow up?
Yep, I am.
I'm going to do... My dad said there's girls footy, but I don't believe him. Wait, do you want to play girls footy?
Yeah,
if there is.
I remember early on covering football, I was at a lunch at VFL Park and I sat with Ted Whitten's wife, who said to me, look, I don't think that women should be writing about football because I don't think you could ever know as much about the game. And I challenged her and I said, but surely you must know so much about football. You've seen more football than nearly anyone in this room. You've watched your husband play 321 games and your son be a good player, a great player for Footscray. Surely you have opinions about the game if you were asked. And she said, she thought about it for a minute and she said, you know, you're right, but whenever I try and talk about football, Ted just tells me to shut up.
It's a grand old flag, it's a high-flying flag, it's the emblem for me and for you. It's the emblem of the team we love, the team of the red and the blue. Every heart beats true for the red and the blue as we sing this song to you. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eyes